Easy street. Living on easy street. Have you ever heard that phrase before? It refers to a lifestyle of ease and comfort. We say a person is living on easy street. For most of us, that's a coveted address. Living on easy street means there's little stress and no need to worry. I can assure you, I don't own a house on that block. Some of you are thinking that that address on Easy Street would sure be better than the one you have now. I know some of you think that right now you're living on Hard Luck Drive or Difficult Lane. Well, regardless of what street you live on, we tend to think that Easy Street is just down the road or around the corner, but it's always somebody else who lives there. Our minds are convinced that the grass is always greener on the other side of the road or down on Easy Street. Just remember that great looking grass on the other side of the street is most likely not real. It's probably astroturf. Even in our spiritual lives, we want to live on Easy Street. We want to believe that giving our lives to Christ should make life all downhill from there. There should be no more bumps on the road, and we envision Easy Street being in a nice Christian neighborhood and everything is fine there. That's just not true. The great apostle Paul knew that. He knew that even the believers at the church in the ancient city of Philippi were tempted to want to live on Easy Street. As a matter of fact, he wrote to them about their very subject. In Philippians 3, verses 17 through 19, he wrote this: "Stick with me, friends. Keep track of those you see running this same course, headed for this same goal. There are many out there talking about other paths, choosing other goals, and trying to get you to go along with them. I've warned you of them many times, sadly. I'm having to do it again. All they want is Easy Street. They hate Christ's cross, but Easy Street is a dead-end street. Those who live there make their bellies their gods. Belches are their praise. All they can think of is their appetite." Wow, those are pretty strong words. Did you see what he said? All they want is Easy Street. These people wanted a spiritual life of ease and comfort. No sacrifice, no cost, no commitment. For that very reason, they are repelled by the ultimate picture of life Jesus lived on a road called Sacrificial Court. They hate Christ's cross. They believe and they want comfortable results. In a sense, they are running this same course and headed for this same goal, as Paul wrote. They want life without a cost. They want happiness and pleasure. They want fulfillment. They just think it ought to come at no cost. Look again at how Paul paints the picture of their attitude. He wrote, "Those who live there on Easy Street make their bellies their gods. Belches are their praise. All they can think of is their appetite." In other words, they live for self and comfort. Their bellies are their God indicates that all they live for is to fill their belly with pleasure and self. They want to experience a life of comfort and ease. Every day for them is another attempt to feed an insatiable appetite. Paul warns them, saying, Easy Street is a dead-end street. It's a dead-end street because it's not real. It's not even really satisfying and fulfilling. So Paul urges them to stick with me, friends. He wants them to stay the course. Guys, it's always tempting to want to take the easy road. The road of less commitment and no sacrifice looks so promising to us, but it's a dead-end street. I remind you that no athlete can succeed without sacrifice and drive and commitment. No job is successful unless somebody pays a price. So many times in Scripture we hear words like this. In Philippians, work out your salvation. Again in Philippians, press toward the mark. In Luke, we're told to strive. In Jude, we're told to contend for the faith. In Corinthians, we're to buffet our bodies. And again, in Timothy, we're told to have self-control and discipline. We learn that there's a commitment involved in following Jesus. For Paul, that commitment often meant isolation in prison. Sometimes it meant stoning. And eventually, for him, it meant death. We tend to forget that our final reward is in heaven, not here. But we want to cash it in now and live on easy street right now. Remember, this is our journey, not our destination. For now, we are soldiers, ambassadors on a mission. That means it'll not always be easy. There is coming a day when the street we live on is going to be paved with gold, and the house we live in is described as a mansion that has been prepared for us. But until then, we're in a spiritual battle, and we're told to consider the cost. In Luke, Jesus turned to a group of would-be followers that he knew really wanted life on an easy street. And he said to them, it's recorded in Luke 14:26 and following, anyone who comes to me but refuses to let go of father and mother, spouse, children, brothers, sisters, yes, even his own self, can't be my disciple. Anyone who won't shoulder his own cross and follow me can't be my disciple. Is there anyone here who, planning to build a new house, doesn't first sit down and figure the cost so you'll know if you can complete it? If you only get the foundation laid and then run out of money, you're going to look pretty foolish. Everyone passing by will poke fun at you. He started something he couldn't finish. Simply put, if you're not willing to take what is dearest to you, whether plans or people, and kiss it goodbye, you can't be my disciples. Those are not the words of an easy street address. With those words, Jesus was culling out those who were not serious about a total commitment to him. He was talking about priorities. He's saying that no one or nothing can be more important to us in life than serving him. It is, after all, there that ultimately we find joy and satisfaction. He would later on say in Matthew that when we lose our life, we'll find our life. How about you? Are you serious about your commitment to follow Christ? What if it means temporary discomfort? What if it calls for sacrifice? Are you only interested in your Christian faith if it promotes easy street, pie in the sky, no strings attached to that kind of Christianity? Are you willing to say yes to the Lord even if it means difficulty? I know many of you have experienced difficult times, some because of your faith. Some have faced tough times because it's just a tough world. I say to you today, remain faithful. Don't let the enemy convince you that because you don't have life on easy street that somehow you're not right with God. I remind you that the great Apostle Paul never owned a house on easy street, yet he was obviously a man of God. Don't get discouraged today. Our reward awaits us in an altogether new neighborhood that God has been preparing for us for a long time. Until then, we remain faithful and diligent. And as Paul wrote in 2 Timothy, we endure hardness as a good soldier. Here's a great thought for today. Be faithful to God no matter what the cost. Here's a great prayer for today. God, help me to be willing to do whatever it takes to live a life of faithfulness to you.